Okay, let's look at the homework 2.5, 2.6, number 1. Right? Just the part to find the equation for the tangent line. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so again, as usual, we need to have two pieces of information. And the first one is a point. Alright, let's call it x1, comma, y1, which is equal to, alright, x value is given as 2 right here. So that's easy, 2. Right? Then we have to find f of 2. So plug in there. So it's a 2 times square root of, right? 2 squared is 4. So 4 plus 45 is 49, which is 7. So 7 times 2 is 14. So we know that the point is 2 comma 7 times 2. So it's 14. Right? We got a point. Right? The second piece of information we need is the slope. Right? So as usual, I'm gonna call this guy m. Right? We can find this guy by simply take the derivative of the function and then plug in 2. Right? So we have to find the derivative. Right? So f prime of x. Right? Before we take the derivative, maybe I don't like square root here, so I'm going to rewrite it as x times quantity x squared plus 45 raise it to the 1/2 power. Alright, so let's do that. So using a product rule, take the derivative of the first guy, which is 1, right? Multiply by the second, so you just copy the second guy. So quantity x squared plus 45 raise it to the 1/2 power, right? Plus, right? Second term is first guy, which is x, times the derivative of the second guy, right? So it's going to be using general power rule. Put 1/2 in front, right? Keep the same quantity x squared plus 45, right? Then subtract 1 from the power. So it's going to be negative 1/2, right? Then by chain rule, multiply by derivative of inside. So that's going to give us 2x. Alright, then we need to clean up a bit. Right, so you can see that there's a 2 on the bottom and 2 on top, so they will cancel out. Alright, and this is going to be, right, so you will have quantity, so 1 doesn't really do anything, so quantity x squared plus 45 to the 1/2 power, right? Plus, maybe I'll give a little bit of room so that we can squeeze something in later, right? The second term is going to be, so you have x here, then you have another x there, so you have x squared on top, right? Because of this negative sign on the power, it indicates that quantity x squared plus 45 will be on the denominator, and we still have 1/2 power here, so it's going to be a 1/2 power. Right? Alright, so we need to somehow put those two things together. Then what you need to do is find a common denominator. Right? this guy really doesn't have a denominator, so what you can do is multiply top and bottom by, alright, so the denominator we need is a common denominator is quantity x squared plus 45 to the 1/2 power, right? So we're going to have to do exactly the same thing, otherwise we're changing the quantity. So quantity x squared plus 45 raised to the 1/2 power. Alright, so this way we have the common denominator, so we can put them as a single fraction. So you have x squared plus 45 raised to the 1/2 power, right? But you can see that if you multiply quantity x squared plus 45 to the 1/2 power times actually itself, exactly the same thing. So it's 1/2 power is the same thing as square root, so it's basically squaring square root. So 1/2 is gone, so you would just get x squared plus 45, right, plus, right, you still have x squared from the second term, so you have x squared, right? So we can rewrite this guy as, right, so I'm going to just put x squared and x squared together, so you will have 2x squared plus 45, right, over, right, so 1/2 power is the square root on the denominator. Then you have x squared plus 45. Alright, so that's the derivative. Alright, now in order to find the slope, we just need to plug in x equals 2. Alright, so plug in x equals 2, so it's going to be a 2 times 2 squared, right, plus 45, right, over, right, on the bottom if you plug in 2, so it's going to be square root of 2 squared plus 45, right, so that's going to be, right, so 2 squared is 4 times 2 8, so 8 plus 45 is 53, right, 53, and on the bottom you have a square root of 4 plus 45, so square root of 49, so it's going to be 7, right? So that's the slope. So you can see that we can find the equation by y minus y1. y1 is 14, which is equal to, slope is 53 over 7, which is not very pretty, and x minus x1. x1 is right here, right, 2. Right, so this is going to be, maybe we should simplify it a bit. Actually, first I'm going to distribute 53 over 7 to each term, so that's going to give you 53 over 7 times x, right, then 53 times negative 2, so that will give us negative 106 over 7. Alright, then our last step would be to isolate y. We can just add 14 to both sides of the equation. Alright, so you're going to have a y isolated by itself. Right, then you have 53 over 7x, right, So you have a minus 106 over 7, right? But we're adding 14, right? 14 is same thing as what over 7? I guess 4 times 7 is 28, right? And 1 times 7 is 7, so it's going to be a 98, right? So this is going to be, so y is equal to 53 over 7 x, right? So it's going to be minus, let's see, 106 minus 98 would be 8. So negative 8 over 7, right? So let's check the answer. All right, so the equation was 53 over 7 times x minus 8 over 7. All right, so let's check the answer by submitting that. All right, it came back as the correct answer. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.